Chisel plows are for deeper primary tillage to fracture compaction and mix soil. Turn up bottom soil and/or bury top residue as preferred. Buckeye Tractor offers several choices to match your tractor power. This is a review of what is seen on the website. Choosing a model is mostly dependent on how many shanks you can pull. Chisel plows are basic for deep tillage. 10-inch tillage depth is average, 12-inch depth is exceptional. We have an excellent line of 3-point mounted plows for 35 to 135 horsepower, which offers practical deep tillage for lower horsepower tractors. You found the source for heavy, small-scale equipment. C-shaped shanks turn bottom soil up on top, which tends to mix in any residue laying on top. This breaks up the soil more, but does not fully roll it over like a moldboard plow. So choosing a chisel plow or a moldboard plow depends on the result you want. Another comparison is with ripper shanks, which are meant to penetrate about the same depth, but the shape of the shank is designed to fracture the soil without turning it over. Other shanks are even heavier to fracture soil well below plow depth, and that takes a lot more horsepower. These points at the bottom continue on the next page. It is not unusual to precede a chisel plow with a disc harrow to cut up residue. It can depend on how heavy the residue is and the final result you want. The initial disc harrow run can start mixing the residue in. Let's acknowledge the use of disc chisels, which feature the cutting holders in front of the chisels to combine field passes. This tends to not be practical on the small farm, but we have it, also 3-point mounted. Chisel shanks tend to need 12 to 15 horsepower per shank. Soil hardness and moisture content weigh in, so timing to do this work is relevant. Another strategy is to crisscross 2 passes to thoroughly fracture the soil profile and maybe mix in residue more. The first pass can be straight down the field, and the second pass would be at 45 degrees normally. This makes the ride smoother on the second pass, and the next field pass after chiseling would be smoother also. Model 5520 is configured with 7 or 9 shanks. Near 100 horsepower is recommended for 7, closer to 125 for 9, and 9 shanks can cover the width of tractors equipped with duals. This features a Category 2 hitch with 4-inch square toolbars, which is typical for chisel plows this size. The 3-bar toolbar frame offers more residue clearance. Gauge wheels are standard for depth control. Feel free to remove a shank if that makes everything pull better at the depth you want. Here at the bottom is shown a 3-point mounted disc chisel. Here's where chisel plows can get matched up with smaller tractors. Some might consider the 7-shank chisel the smallest possible, as it has enough shanks to cover the width of the tractor. But 5 shanks on model 5320 puts the tractor near 75 horsepower into play. The 15-inch spacing is suitable for tractors with 60-inch wheel spacing. Then if breaking the soil profile isn't quite sufficient between all the shanks, that may promote the value of a second pass. It all depends on soil conditions. Also set up with Foreshanks for very aggressive zone tillage between the tractor tracks, which might be handy for raised bed systems. The bottom of the page offers a perspective with rigid mounted shanks versus spring cushion. In short, the real need for spring cushion is minimal with 5 or less shanks, since less horsepower is less likely to bend a shank. And spring cushion is a bit pricey for a small chisel plow. Spring cushion would be more suitable in rocking conditions on bigger models with more shanks. Reading through this will tell you more. 3120 puts 35 to 60 horsepower tractors to work, equipped with 3 or 4 shanks. The frame is a little smaller with 3-inch toolbars. At this point, every tractor horse and how it's weighted for traction can make a difference. A typical buyer is pulling 3 shanks with a 45 horse tractor. The Foreshank version is a bit unique. It'll pull fine in low residue conditions with a shank spacing of 20 inches or more. Options are available to offset middle shanks for more residue clearance. This has a Category 1 hitch, but it can be adjusted for Category 2 dimensions for smaller Category 2 tractors. Smaller farms can get a big bang for the buck with a heavy chisel plow toolbar. The row of photos at the bottom show other deep tillage attachments on this heavy toolbar. These multi-tool kits include everything you need to set up a disc bedder, bed lifter, ripper, or mulch lifter. We would be happy to listen if you have other ideas. Keep in mind the big toolbars are not practical for lighter secondary tillage setups. S-tines are not compatible with 3-inch or 4-inch toolbars, for example. Part numbers are shown. To find prices, any of these pages have the green price list icon to link to the price list. This is at the upper right of the website screen. We aim to please with many choices for adaptable machinery to meet the reality of any-day field work. Contact us to help clarify any point for your applications. These website pages are listed under one bed equipment for 25 to 80 horsepower tractors. Click on Chisel Plows. This is section 18. Any of these pages can be printed from the website by first downloading a PDF file. This is the black icon in the upper right on the screen to click on. Thank you for watching this review of Buckeye Chisel Plows.